attacks. Oh, someone's paying for it. Trust me. Someone is paying for it, Jen. It's not free.
Well, if you've been following the national government the last week or so, there's a lot of things that we're paying for.
So the only issue with this, because a lot of times with the emissions test, then you can just, renew your registration right at the place. So when I went, it was supposed to close down at 6. I was able to do my emissions test. There was nobody inside to go in and renew my sticker, so I still had to do that online. But still, I was able to. It took me 2 minutes and 40 seconds, I think, is what it said on the sheet to do my own emissions test.
Gabe, do you take the cord and hook it into your car?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's easy to do. We have a scanner that obviously, if the light does go off, we have a scanner that we can plug in, and it'll tell us exactly what the problem is.
This is monumental. I don't want to understate the significance of this information that Gabe has passed on to us. I'm going to put it on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll. Did you know that we, Wisconsin, southeastern Wisconsin, have self-service emissions tests now? I don't think a lot of people know that. It certainly didn't say it on the sheet. So you know what I mean? It didn't say, and by the way,
these 2 places.
To save you time and frustration, here's a self-service option. Although it doesn't surprise me, Chew, because everything is self-service now.
Hold on. Jen, would you like a self-service gasoline service where they come to your house once every 4 days, once every week, and fill your car up for you for a little bit of a charge?
Absolutely.
Now, I mean, Jen was signing up for this before you finished your sentence.
Now we have that at the lake. We just send an email out to a guy.
Then
he comes by and fills your boat and your jet skis right up.
That's amazing. And to bring it full circle, because we were talking about your surgery, would you do a self-service surgery?
Yeah, because I'm old.
You already know that answer. No, you wouldn't. That's not because you're old. You would have done a self-service surgery when you were 26.
I love surgeries, number one. I think they're great. No, I love surgeries because it's the only time where I get absolutely pampered. It's wonderful.
Well, that doesn't work if it's a self-service. You need the other people to do the servicing.
Yeah, that's true. But don't you love surgery? Surgeries are wonderful.
No, I have to take a pill to get through the doors, to get to the waiting room, to get to the hospital. I'm not a big fan of the surgery. I can't imagine that many people are. I think it's daunting. I think anytime you have to go under anesthesia, again,
it's the first time I've heard somebody say, "Yeah, surgery, sign me up. I love it."
Oh, they give you a warm blanket. It's lush. They give you some. They give you an IV with some juice in it, which is always nice. I don't know. I don't mind them. I've had one, too. I've had about 4 or 5 of them.
So I want to make sure I understand your proposal. Your proposal is if they cut you open and it is what you said it was.
Yes.
Before the mandatory MRI, you think you know what your injury is.
I know.
They should cover the cost. They should comp the surgery.
Because he's saving them time.
Or comp the MRI or something. All right, let me ask you guys. Do you guys believe me when I say I know what it is?
I think you know your body, and I think you played a long time. And
Chewy, I have believed you every step of the way, and I have been wrong every step of the way.
What do you mean?
Well, it's just this. I can do this, and then it's going to be fine. Oh, I just need to do the needling, and then I'm going to be fine. Oh, I know exactly what I need to do to get back into the weight room.
The pinch is the giveaway, though, Gabe. The pinch is the giveaway. Because if it was a tendon, there would be something I can't do. Would you agree with that?
Yes.
There would be something like the ulnar, the Tommy John thing. There's something you can't do. I can do everything with my fingers, forearm, but as soon as I do this, see what I'm see?
Yeah,
the thing.
Have you seen the weight room?
As soon as I do that, there is a pinch and it goes back to like 80% and I can't extend it. I know what the hell it is.
So you think you've got torn cartilage in there?
Yeah.
And it's clicking. It's like
it pinches. It's the exact same feeling I had in Dallas. Yeah.
So I had that in my knee. If you have a torn cartilage, torn meniscus, and the meniscus will get stuck on itself, and you'd have to wait for it to release. And in that moment, you'd be like, okay, we're back.
Yeah.
I just have one request.
What?
Can you get this done as soon as possible?
No, I got to wait till like May now.
May?
Yes.
Oh, man.
You've been a grouchy old man.
I know.
Because you haven't been able to work out.
And this was December.
Yeah, for the last 6 weeks.
I feel like a piece of used bubble gum. That's what I feel like.
Explain.
I'm doughy. My boobs are sagging. My arms have shrunk. It's like, this is terrible. You know what I'm going to do today? I'm hooking the TENS unit up to my breast.
Oh my God! And you're just gonna have a pop, 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 pop,
Yeah.
pop, 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 pop
Yeah.
with the electrocurrent.
Yep. Yes.
And this is right before beach season. You know, it's going to be getting warm down
I'm
there.
all right though, because for me, for a non-NARP, it's a 4 to 6 weeks deal. For a NARP, it's a 3-month deal.
Oh my goodness, we got a lot of reaction rolling in, guys, on this.
Here's the problem, bud. Like 4 to 6 weeks when you're like, in your 30s, like you're not 32 anymore, bud.
It's 4 to 6. They will be in there for about, they'll be in there for a half hour. It will not be very long.
So let me just get to some of this reaction, guys, because there's a lot of stuff popping this morning on the Carbless talk and text line, 800-990-3776. First of all, Jerry says, my wife and I are both in Chewy's court on this one. When it comes to surgeries, we have no fear and actually enjoy it.
Yes.
Crazy town. Ryan from McGuanago wants to know if you have a surgery punch card. Maybe you get the 10th one free.
Come with the captain's hat.
Yeah, they're running a special. Emissions and a scope.
Frankie says, bleep, no, I didn't know this. I've been going on a year not having my emissions done because of the hassle of finding a place. This is a game changer. Thank you, Gabe. Billy says, I failed an emissions test once in my life.
What?
It was right after I had a new alternator put in. They told me to go out and drive for 100 miles, come back, and then I passed. And speaking of the self-service emissions test that Gabe just informed us of, Chef Ed says, yeah, that's great, but it's still not as informative as him telling us that Cleveland is not trading Myles Garrett. Speaking of that, we are going to talk about the update on that. Adam Schefter joining the Pat McAfee show yesterday and had information about Myles Garrett and his destination. Stick around.
Guys, I'm telling you, if you're making plans to propose to that special someone in your life, the Jewelry Center, the only place to go for that ring. They're the best place to shop for diamond engagement rings in Milwaukee for a reason. And that reason, I think, is the team that Dean the Dancing Machine has put together. Whether you're going into Greenfield, whether you're going to Brookfield, whether you're going to Burlington, you're going to find a helpful team that is going to take that dream ring and turn it into reality. Maybe you have an idea of what you want that ring to look like. I kind of did, but the team gave me some options, helped walk me through the process before I eventually picked the right ring for my wife. But maybe you don't have an idea. Check out our Pinterest board. Take a look on social media. If there's any ideas on there, bring those in with you. And that helpful team of the Jewelry Center always going to point you in that right direction. Whether you're looking for a naturally grown diamond, a lab-grown diamond, they have all of that at the Jewelry Center. Again, check them out. Greenfield, Brookfield, or in Burlington, or shop the Jewelry Center online. ShopTJC.com.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We've got full freeway speeds across the entire area right now. Just a few broken down vehicles here and there, out of traffic, all of them. So really not affecting your ride. So we're pretty much starting off with a nice ride. And check out the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Afternoon light and mix, likely minor snow and sleet or ice accumulation, a high of 31. Tonight, light mix, lightly freezing drizzle, a low of 29. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
Hey guys, Josh DiMaggio here. Don't be like me and wait till the last minute. Valentine's Day is almost here. Impress that special someone with a handcrafted bouquet from Flowers for Dreams. Order a bouquet online at flowersfordreams.com or visit their Walker's Point location. Use code ESPN at checkout for 15% off your bouquet, or this year, try something new with tickets to their date night open studio workshop on Friday, February 14th. Every Valentine's bouquet benefits an amazing local Milwaukee charity. That's flowersfordreams.com, code ESPN.
Kevin Moret here for Mentality. Listen up, gentlemen. You're fighting an unfair battle. Studies show testosterone levels in men have plummeted by 25% in just 2 decades. That's why you're struggling with energy, muscle, and drive. But here's a game changer. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments boost testosterone by 30% on average. Imagine reclaiming the vitality your grandfathers had. Picture turning heads, dominating your career, and feeling unstoppable again. Don't settle for today's normal. Seize the day at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
James Imaging Systems. Local support, local accountability, local business technology representatives. Listen to Matheson Manufacturing President Al Leidinger.
She still checks in to see how things are going and if we need anything. So I really do appreciate that from a customer service standpoint.
Michael Quizan, IT Systems Administrator at Great Midwest Bank, discovered the benefits of working with the local team at James.
Our cost from supplies perspective went down. I mean, we're talking about thousands in a year. So we saved a lot of money by bringing James Imaging on.
James Imaging Systems client Luther Gray, Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales with the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra, on dealing with James.
They are making sure you get the full value in life of every product that you have with them.
Local support, local accountability, local people. Get it all with James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
What's the credit union difference? Well, let me tell you what's different about Educators Credit Union. We're community advocates, fundraisers, small business champions, and all around passionate about you. Educators Credit Union, achieving more together. Insured by NCUA.
My name is Rob, and I was seriously injured. When I think of Gruber Law Offices, I think of an honest, hardworking team who will fight to represent you. Couldn't be happier with the call that I made that day.
Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
My father would always say, and there's a rhyme and a reason to it, he said, if you wear your rubbers in the house, you'll go blind. Do the two youngsters on the show here even know what rubbers are? I'm talking the ones that go over the shoes.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Back here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, we have Adam Schefter joining us in just a few moments. Adam Schefter on the Pat McAfee show yesterday talking about Myles Garrett. We will talk to Adam about what he said when he joins us in about 5. But before we get to that, I feel like there's a lot of excitement, anticipation, hopefulness. Hell, I'll even go as far as there's a demand from Packers fans right now that they want something to happen, Gabe. I don't know if they care precisely who it is that the Packers go out and get, but they want Brian Gutekunst and company to go get somebody. Maybe it's Devontae. Maybe it's Max Crosby. Maybe it's Myles Garrett. Maybe it's Khalil Mack. Maybe it's T. Higgins. I mean, the list goes on and on of names that we have heard that could benefit, could improve the Packers on either side of the ball. Do you feel as strongly as I have seen some Packers fans feel, Gabe, which is they'll be disappointed if the Packers don't make a deal somewhere in the offseason?
I think that's fair. Because if you're talking about, and I know Jason's mentioned when Gutekunst mentioned urgency, maybe he wasn't talking about himself, but when you've thrown that word out there in a press conference and there are clear and obvious holes on your team that the draft isn't going to be able to solve, maybe it solves it for 2026, 2027, but drafting in the mid-20s in every round, probably not going to be, we're going to get that pass rusher that we need. We're going to get that number one wide receiver that we need. So when those are potentially options out there and you hear the names that are out there, whether it's wide receiver, whether it's pass rusher, yeah, I think it's fair if the Packers don't add, from an external free agent, make a big trade. I think that's fair to say that would be disappointing because then you're just kind of back at where you are, like you're going to be the youngest team in the league again.
Yeah, but here's the problem, Gabe. A lot of GMs, and Ron never had this problem, really. A lot of GMs can't admit when they're wrong. They can't admit when they're wrong. And bringing Myles Garrett in would essentially say, you're wrong on Lucas Van Ness. You screwed up. That's why I love Ron so much. Ron went out and got Reggie. He knew we needed it. And then, like with T-Buck, a lot of these GMs hold on to their draft picks maybe a year or two too long. He got rid of him right away. He knew and moved on. So, Goody, do you agree with me? If he did do this, he would people would love it, but he would be admitting that he was wrong with Lucas Van Ness.
So the only thing I'll say about that, Chew, is we know that he's not going to have a 100% hit rate. We know that there are going to be times he misses on guys. We know that there are times when even the relative athletic score?
Mm-hmm.
Relative, okay. Sometimes that is going to steer you in the wrong direction. It's all well and good to be athletic. Sometimes those guys can't play football at the next level. And I think it's sort of built in that there are going to be mistakes made in the draft. Now, is it more egregious, Gabe, when it's a higher pick? You want to hit on those a little bit more frequently? Sure. But I guess I sort of feel like if you're a GM, you're going, it's like a baseball player. I'm going to have an at-bat, and I'm going to strike out sometimes, and that's okay.
But I agree with Chew, though, that moving on quickly is the sign of a really good GM. And look, if I don't think Goody would look at it as, I missed on Van Ness. I think Goody would look at it as, hey, if Myles Garrett's actually available, let's go get a future Hall of Famer, somebody who can just really transform what our defense looks like. Let's go get that generational player because we can. Even if you would have hit on, if Lucas Van Ness was a hit in a Pro Bowler and you could still go get Myles Garrett, you'd do it because he's the best in the league. He's the best of a generation at what he does.
And Chew, you know what's crazy? We spent a lot of time talking about the potential free agents. We spent a lot of time talking about trade options. But most of those conversations have been about pass rush or wide receiver. Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, obviously on that side of the ledger. We haven't talked at all about cornerback. We haven't talked at all about another position of need for the Green Bay Packers. So I feel like a lot of people are focusing on, defensive ends, wide receivers. If Goody went out and got a free agent corner or traded for a corner, would that check the box that we are talking about here, or would that feel like a consolation prize?
That's a tough one. Because I think D-end and cornerback go hand in hand when it comes to importance. But right now, I would have to say that D-end is more important than getting a corner. I think you can survive next year with the corners they have if he gets a very good D-end. I don't think they can survive if he goes out and gets a Jair stud corner and rolls it back with this defensive line. I just don't think that'll work. So I'm more inclined to go get a DN. This offseason is going to tell us a lot about Goody. It's going to tell us a lot because if he rolls back these receivers, he's stubborn. Yeah, he's stubborn.
With that, Chewy, if they don't go, if one of these guys doesn't get traded, like if Max Crosby isn't actually available, if Myles Garrett isn't actually available, they don't go anywhere. I have a hard time blaming Goody for, how come you didn't improve the pass rush? Well, there wasn't really a free agent. Those guys weren't actually available. You couldn't go get them. But there are going to be plenty of options to improve the wide receiver room. Like there are going to be free agents that you can go out, even marginally improve that wide receiver room.
With who? A Sammy Watkins?
No, but like a Cooper Kupp.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Even though you were out on Cooper Kupp yesterday.
I am out.
But Gabe, if he doesn't go out and get a stud D end, it's gonna shine more light on how he screwed up on this D.
100%. But if there's nobody available, Chew, there's nobody available. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't force the Browns to trade Myles Garrett.
That's the old.
What scares you more, though? What scares you more, rolling back this D line or rolling back this receiver group?
I mean, the D line is worse, but again, like the answers to the D line aren't necessarily there. The answers to wide receivers are.
And again, we aren't even talking about cornerback. So, and I'm not trying to force a cornerback conversation here, but I am saying we spend a lot of time talking about the D-end options. We spend a lot of time talking about wide receiver options, and we continue to ignore that is a glaring spot that they need to address as well. Whether that is Jair Alexander getting his bleep figured out, whether that is signing a free agent, whether that is addressing it in the draft, maybe all of the above. But that's another position that I think the Packers are going to need to highlight, circle, asterisk on the draft board. and as they make acquisitions this offseason. We have to take a break. We have Adam Schefter coming up next. We will talk to Adam Schefter about what he thinks the Myles Garrett situation is right after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
Starting to slow down a little bit. Eastbound 94 from about 76th Street all the way to about 35th. Southbound on 41, heavy from Silver Spring down towards Capitol Drive. Other than that, we're looking good across the rest of the system. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles, now offering heart-shaped Kringles with pink icing in raspberry, chocolate silk, cherry, and pecan flavors. Order at kringle.com or call 1-800-4DANISH. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Afternoon light mix likely. Minor snow, sleet, and ice accumulation, so careful for the drive home. A high of 31. Later on tonight, light mix likely. Freezing drizzle with a low of 29. Weather's brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee, packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirit deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
It's really been amazing, the amount of people that I've had contact me, and the talk is generally centered around QC Kinetics, and whether it's a knee, whether it's a back, a hip, shoulder.
He's always happy to talk about how QC Kinetics all-natural regenerative treatments finally gave him relief without surgery. That's former pro football player Bobby Carpenter.
My message to them is do not wait and push off a week, a month, whatever it is. So if you want to feel better this summer, now would be the time to get in. If you want to feel better in the fall, make sure that you're getting in here so you can go out and play golf and do the things that you love and enjoy.
Spoken by a man who experienced relief firsthand. QC Kinetics gave this former pro athlete back his mobility, his activity, and they'll do the same for you.
Has really helped me in just my general quality of life.
Don't wait. Call QC Kinetics for your free consultation today. QC Kinetics.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474. Now's the time to plan your total experience getaway to the Island Resort and Casino. With over 450 hotel rooms and a luxurious spa, relax in style before diving into nonstop casino action. Watch your favorite teams on the big screens and enjoy great food and drinks at T. McSee's Sports Bar, or savor top-tier dining at Horizon Steakhouse. Then amp up your night with live music and comedy. Head to where the big game, big wins, and big fun come together. The Island Resort and Casino.
Hey, it's Chris Canty. Guys, you don't want to fumble Valentine's Day. You need a solid game plan. Send foolproof flowers from the Books Company and get 25% off your entire purchase. Books flowers are fresh, vibrant, and last way longer. Some are even grown on the side of a volcano. Don't wait. Valentine's Day is February 14th, so get your order in now. Go to Books.com. Use my promo code CANTY for 25% off. That's BOUQS.com, promo code CANTY. Books, promo code CANTY.
Progressive knows sports brings people together, but you gotta feel bad for people who don't even get it. Some people will never know what it's like to see their favorite team's hopes decided by a ping pong ball to draft the next superstar. Or not. I mean, sure, it's silly for your happiness to hinge on the success of a 20-year-old entry-level employee, but you just can't help yourself. The stress is exhilarating. Progressive can't bring people together like the draft, but we can bring your home and auto insurance together with a bundle. So switch and see if you could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
Everyone's go-to source for all NFL news.
And we're going to get right to some breaking news here that just came down. This tweet from Adam Schefter.
Adam's on the phone. Adam, you got more news? What do you got?
They're going with another move, and here is the man who knows all, Adam Schefter.
It's ESPN NFL insider Adam Schefter.
It's always hard to beat a team 3 times in one season. It just is. I wouldn't be surprised if they meet again, and I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay is in that game and Green Bay has a chance to win that game.
Adam Schefter on JGC is sponsored by Island Resort and Casino. Gaming, casual, and fine dining. 2 golf courses, a luxury spa, and live entertainment. Your total experience is at the Island.
We love our time every week with Adam Schefter. He's a very busy guy, so we appreciate him spending any moments with us. Adam Schefter, where in the world are you, Carmen Sandiego?
I am in New Orleans. I am in the ESPN compound. I am here, been here all week long, and will be here through the game on Sunday, Jen.
Wonderful. Can we talk about Myles Garrett for a moment? I know yesterday on the Pat McAfee show, you sort of made it bleak for fan bases and franchises that might be interested in his services. What do you believe is the latest on the Myles Garrett demanding a trade, asking for a trade situation?
Well, I bleak would be the wrong word, Jen. I think we try to be practical and realistic about where it's at. And I know it's fun to talk about a trade. And by the way, the Browns may eventually come around on trading him. But to date, they have given no inclination whatsoever that they're interested in trading Myles Garrett. So they're going to have to move off their stance before there's a trade. And I think Myles Garrett, I don't know how strong his stomach is to create chaos and to sit out and risk game checks and risk the wrath of fans. Now, I think a lot of people understand, hey, Cleveland doesn't win, hasn't won. We understand why you're frustrated, so we support you. There certainly would be a segment of fans that would be on his side, but there would be people that would be pissed off about it. And I also want to point out that I think in each of the last 3 years, we've had multiple players demand trades only to not be traded. Lamar Jackson did it as John Harbaugh was walking into a breakfast meeting to meet reporters at the owners' meetings a couple of years ago. He wound up re-signing with Baltimore. Deebo Samuel demanded a trade. He wound up re-signing with the Niners. Brandon Ayuk demanded a trade. He wound up re-signing. Now, the difference is, all those guys, it was about the contract. This is not about the contract. This is about the performance. So there is a difference. And I don't know if Cleveland can make it right. But usually when teams come to players and they say, hey, I know you don't want to be here, but we're going to take care of you here. We're going to make you the highest paid defensive player in football, the highest paid non-quarterback in football. Sometimes it has a way of working out. Now, this, again, he's adamant it has nothing to do with money, and that's fine. But money sometimes solves these things, and sometimes it doesn't. And if he's prepared to sit and wait for a long period of time, then maybe eventually he'll get to force a trade to where he wants. But I don't think because he issued that trade on Monday, the Browns are waking up going, oh, boy, Myles Garrett's unhappy. Okay, let's get on the phone now, and let's see what kind of offers we get. They're not doing that.
And, Adam, I've seen some of the offers, which aren't, I don't know, they're not great.
Offers.
I'm just saying people, not offers, but people, pundits throwing out a first and a third. Hypotheticals. Yeah, the only way Cleveland's going to do this is if they break the bank. Right? If they get 2 first-round picks for the guy, they're not going to do it for a first and a third and Lucas Van Ness. Would you agree?
The Browns have already said that they're not interested in trading him for 2-1s. Now, again, you take it for what it's worth. Maybe that's just them trying to create leverage. I'm just telling you, having spoken, they're not interested in trading him right now. They're not going to trade him. That doesn't mean they won't change their mind in a month or two, but right now they're not interested in trading him.
It would have to be before the draft, right? If they were to change their mind, it would have to happen before the draft. I know they can mitigate what the cap hit would be if they trade him post June 1, but at that point, the draft's come and gone. Then the picks you're getting are, who knows what they are because it's going to be future draft picks and you don't know the draft order. This would have to be, if they were to do it, they would have to change their mind before the draft, right?
I would think that is an artificial deadline for them to change their mind. Again, I think when Khalil Mack got traded, he got traded that summer when he had demanded it. It went on, and again, by the way, the Raiders, we're not trading him. And 4, 5, 6 months later, whenever it was, I think it was in August, he was traded. So, yes, the draft is one artificial deadline, but it is not an absolute because, by the way, we could come up with the draft as a deadline for the Browns and their picks, but then they say, we're not trading him. They hold to that position. Myles Garrett doesn't show at training camp. He's issuing statements every day, ripping the team. That's what I'm saying. How strong is his stomach? How much chaos is he willing to create? How long is he willing to sit to prove his point? Because I think it might take something like that to get them to the point where maybe it's in August, right before the start of the season, that they say, we can't deal with this anymore. We're trading him in August, right? Yes, the draft is one artificial deadline, but that's not a hard and fast deadline, and it could go on longer than that.
Adam Schefter hanging out with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Adam, we were just talking about GMs. We were talking about their hit rates. Paul Hembakidis, Hembo, obviously, as we know him, he sends out every year around the draft success rates at various positions. And, he bases it on whether or not they get a second contract with the team that drafted them. And it seems like it's about 50%. It seems like it's about 50% at most positions. How do GMs grade themselves? And I'm sure there's a spectrum there. But we were talking about Brian Gutekunst, and he hasn't hit on every draft pick, although Gabe reminds us that the roster right now is almost completely constructed with draft picks for the Green Bay Packers. They are a draft and develop team. How, in your experience with general managers, do they grade each draft? Are they about a 50%? If they can hit on 50%, that feels successful to them. Does it need to be higher than that? What is your understanding of how they look at that?
Well, before I answer that, Jen, I just looked. Khalil Mack was traded September 1st, 2018. September 1st. I'm looking here. Chicago Bears reached a record-setting 6-year, $141 million extension with Khalil Mack on Saturday. A source told somebody named ESPN's Adam Schefter. So that was September 1st, 2018 when he was traded. Now, again, we're not looking at September 1st for Myles Garrett, but you just don't know how it's going to play out. As for GMs grading themselves, look, there's not a GM in the league. Like Howie Roseman, in my mind, is as good a GM as there is in the league. And at one point in time, he took Jalen Reagor ahead of Justin Jefferson. So, they're human. Every one of them makes mistakes. The key is that they make more hits. They have more hits than they do misses. And Brian Gutekunst has had more hits than misses, and Howie Roseman's had more hits than misses. And there's not a specific formula or numerical formula that you apply that says a GM is or isn't doing a good job. You know what it is? It's the one-loss record of that team on a year-to-year basis. That's what tells you whether or not the GM is doing a good job. That the win percentage, not the hit percentage, because there are various ways to build teams, either through the draft, through trades, through waivers, through signing undrafted free agents. There are a lot of ways, and some people excel in certain areas, others are stronger in other areas. But I just think you look at the way that team's perform. And by the way, we all can look at it, and you can just say, that team's got a pretty good roster. They've hit on a lot of picks. Nobody hits on every pick. Nobody, not even close.
Adam, I saw that Andy Reid said he's going to coach for at least one more season. You think he's tired? Because if he wins this game, he's kind of within reach of Belichick, especially with Mahomes and all the years he has left. You think he needs a reset? I mean, he's been head coach for a long time now, and it's a grind. Do you believe him there?
What? Oh, my God. First of all, and not to diminish Andy Reid's job, he's one of the greatest coaches of all time.
Yeah.
He makes $20 million a year, roughly. He's coaching Patrick Mahomes. He's got great coordinators in Matt Nagy and Steve Spagnuolo. He can delegate as much as he wants, and it allows him to kind of run Chiefs Kingdom, run the team the way he wants, the way he knows how, is one of the greatest coaches ever. And maybe he's not getting in the office. I don't know this, but maybe he's not getting in the office at 5 a.m. the way he used to. Maybe he could stroll in at a more humane hour. Maybe he leaves a little earlier. And he knows he's done this long enough. He knows how to pace himself. But and at some point it will be enough for him. But as long as you're coaching that quarterback on that team with that salary, with those why would you not take that as long as you could until you felt like you couldn't do it anymore? And I don't think he's slowing down.
And you got the State Farm commercials. Fumble-rooski. Come on. He's living the good life.
No, but I know. But I look at Spagnuolo, and I'm like, God, he should have probably got... Did he get interviews for a head coaching job? Or is it like, hey, I'm going to turn this over to you in two years, so just hang tight? That happens. No? I mean, I started talking about retiring after my 5th year. I'm like, every training camp, I'm like, this sucks. I'm out of here. This is my last year. And of course,
but you were getting hit.
True.
Andy's not getting hit, man.
Good point. It's fair.
Wait, we have breaking news that just came in.
Oh.
You ready?
Yep. Andy Reid retired?
Hold on. I got bubbles on this text. This is big news.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I'm waiting for the second part of it. I want to be able to tell the full story.
Should we just talk amongst ourselves?
Well, I do love that Adam was like, I have breaking news, and Chewy was like, I'll take care of it. Let me handle it.
My wife's iPad has been found. She left it at the airport yesterday, flying back to Newark, New Jersey.
Huge news here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Exclusively. That's the only place you can find that type of news.
I just got a text. They found my iPad. Like, I was dealing with an hysterical wife yesterday. She was in New Orleans with me, and basically she's like, I left my iPad on the plane. So flying down here Sunday, without getting personal, my wife locked herself out of her iPhone, and she's a type 1 diabetic and could not get like the meter readings that she needed. 8 hours. We got to New Orleans and spent our first night in New Orleans with her on the phone with Apple support for over 2 hours trying to get her phone unlocked because she couldn't remember any code. I don't know what's going on here. I may have to turn her in for a younger model here at some point.
Hold on, Adam.
Dump
was part
that.
of it.
Dump that.
Protect our guy.
Hit the button, okay?
Protect our guy.
He knows not what he says.
Was part of it your fault, though? Because it would have been my fault. For sure.
It's always my fault. It's always my
Yes.
She left it's my fault. It was my fault she left it, of course. Always my fault, right? Chewy?
Adam,
always your fault.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once again, great stuff from you. And I would be remiss if I did not say what a great job Dylan is doing yet again on her coverage down there at the Super Bowl. You must be so proud watching her work.
Well, Jen, it was her third. I think it was her third media night on Monday night, and she was bouncing around from stage to stage. And she texted last night. She was all excited that she got done. She was up next to Travis Kelce, and she asked Travis Kelce his favorite Taylor Swift album or song, or I forget. And she's like, "Was that a dumb question?" I'm like, "No, it's a great question." Well, long story, she was beating herself up over it, as interviewers sometimes can. Jen, we know how this works. And all of a sudden, she texted me something last night that they played her question in exchange with Travis Kelce on TMZ last night.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, Dylan. Way to give the people what they want, right?
The moral of the story is no question is a dumb question. There you go, Dylan.
Adam, we appreciate you. I hope you and your family have a wonderful time in New Orleans. I hope we get a good game. That's really all I'm rooting for, man. I just want a good game. Not a one-sided affair and where you're like, okay, I'm out. Watching for the commercials and the halftime show at this point.
There you go. That's it should be a good matchup. There's a lot on the line.
Yep.
The most.
There is. All right. You get back to your text messages. You tell your wife.
Jen, hopefully there's not too many fumble rooskies on Sunday.
Fumble rooski. That's fun to say, right? Like, that's not just me. Yeah, okay, good.
Fumble rooski. It's just fun to say cheeseburgers are to eat for Andy. So,
exactly.
He's having a lot of fun.
All right. Adam, have a great one. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Adam Schefter and our conversations with him each and every Wednesday brought to you by the Island Resort and Casino. It's a premier resort destination, the largest north of Milwaukee, with everything you like to do in one awesome location. Visit islandresortandcasino.com and book your total experience today.
All right, this is your cue to call. Get your dialing fingers ready. We are playing Superb Owl Squares right after this on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. 800-990-3776. That's the Carbless talk and text line. And your way to play Superb Owl Squares with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy right after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
Whether you are a local who wants to enjoy a night out or you're planning to visit our great city of Milwaukee, enjoy an artfully stylish experience at St. Kate the Arts Hotel. Hey, maybe you got friends coming in from out of town. St. Kate the Arts Hotel is ideally located in the heart of the theater district in downtown Milwaukee with deluxe accommodations, culinary creativity, on-site art galleries, and nightly live music. You and your friends will enjoy every element of your stay at St. Kate. Learn more and book your stay at stkatearts.com. That's stkatearts.com.
Vivid Seats is your ultimate destination for basketball and hockey this season. With a game-changing rewards program and an unbeatable selection of tickets, they make it easy for every fan to watch their favorite teams and players in action. Catch every one-timer and buzzer-beating 3 live and in person from your favorite seat. Plus, every ticket is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee, giving you peace of mind with every purchase. Don't miss out. Visit vividseats.com or download the app today. Vivid Seats, the official ticketing partner of ESPN.
If you're looking for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance, we're Term Provider, experts in finding affordable term life insurance for those that may not be in perfect health. Prostate cancer, heart conditions, high cholesterol, or on prescription medications, you may still qualify for $500,000 to $1 million or more of affordable term life insurance. Call Term Provider at 800-444-9336. 800-444-9336.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it. Did you know that 1 in 4 people seeking treatment for ED are under 40? So you're not alone. And even better, Hims can help. Find the ED treatment that fits your needs at up to 95% less than the brand names when you get started at hims.com/joy. It all starts with an online intake form. From there, a medical provider licensed in your state will determine if ED treatment is right for you. Through hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED, including daily or as-needed meds through a 100% online process. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. Millions of men experience ED, but Hims can help. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Texting enrolls you in a recurring automated marketing text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
The team's looking good this season.
I think so. Man, I miss playing football. Being young with unlimited energy to burn. Ever since I turned 40, I just can't find that fire I used to have.
Think it could be lower testosterone?
What do you mean?
All guys lose their edge when they turn 40. The body has less testosterone. That's why I take Nugenix Total T.
I've heard about Nugenix. That really works?
Since I started taking Nugenix, I'm lifting like when we played for Coach Carter. I feel more energized at work. It's even spiced up things between me and the missus.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try?
Yep, send a text. It's that easy.
Text GRIT to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. It's the #1 selling testosterone boosting brand at GNC and Walmart. Do it now and they'll also send you a bottle of Nugenix Thermo X, their newest, most powerful fat burner ever, absolutely free. Text GRIT to 42424. That's GRIT to 42424.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.
You're listening to Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
You called them a white stiff earlier.
From one white stiff to another? I'm pretty well versed in the realm of stiffs.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Lines are lighting up to play Superb Owl Squares here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Let me just find the number 1. Sam and Kenosha, you're up first on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Are you ready to play Superb Owl Squares?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, all you got to do is answer a question correctly. You get entered into the Superb Owl Squares board. You'll have 10 squares on that board. They'll be randomly assigned, and numbers randomly assigned after we get everybody in. Your question to kick today off. What is the largest upset in Super Bowl history? Largest upset in terms of point spread in Super Bowl history.
Was that the Broncos over the Packers?
It was not.
Oh, you are lucky,
Chewy
Gabe.
thought it was. I knew it. I'm watching his face going, he thinks it's him. He thinks it's him.
The Jets beat the Colts as an 18-point underdog, famously in Super Bowl III, when Willie Joe guaranteed the Jets would win.
You're lucky.
You think I was going to read that question?
Come on. I saw his face and I was like, oh, Chewy.
You weren't looking at the camera, were you? I mean, I used the wrong finger, but I did give you the finger, Gabe.
Well, it turns out it was the wrong finger because you didn't deserve it. Jared in Milwaukee, you're up next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Are you ready to play Superb Owl Squares?
Definitely ready.
All right. Who is the most recent defensive player to win Super Bowl MVP? Most recent defensive player to win Super Bowl MVP.
And there was that Von Miller.
Von Miller is correct. Super against the Carolina Panthers.
I felt a little searchy to me. Josh, you and I made eye contact. That felt a little searchy. Felt a little internet sleuthy.
There was a Seattle Seahawk, a no-name guy that won it, right?
That was Malcolm Butler.
Yeah. Oh, was it him? The guy who picked the pass off?
I believe so. I believe he was Malcolm Butler against the Seahawks. But I think they're linebacker the year they won.
Yeah.
Now
kind of a Larry Brown deal. Yeah, kind of a Larry Brown deal.
Remember, you have another option, another chance to win Superb Owl Squares when we play at 8:45, so in about an hour. We got a lot of questions here from Hembo this year, man. These are good questions.
Well, I'm glad we're getting them earlier this year because there were times last year where that was
tough,
nerve-wracking.
Like you thought we were going to run out of questions again?
Well, we did.
Again?
Yeah. So, we're off to a good start. There's still plenty of opportunities for people to get a lot of questions wrong. We're only halfway through.
True. Chewy, did you know both of those? No, you did not.
He obviously
Von Miller
did not.
won it. No, hold on. But I thought the guy from Seattle won it more recently.
Wait, so you offered?
I knew Von Miller won it, but I thought the Seattle game was more recent, and I forgot the linebacker's name. So, speaking of Andy Reid, though, did you guys know he doesn't swear?
No.
Yeah, that's
you didn't
son of
know
a buck.
that. Jeepers Crow.
I didn't know Jeepers Crow.
Lord love a duck.
Lord love a duck.
Yeah. When
Which
someone
of these
screws up,
Andy
Lord
Reid-
love a duck.
Which of these Andy Reid phrases is your favorite?
Well,
Jeepers Crow.
Well,
Jeepers
Chewy, you
Crow.
said "son of a buck" enough where it's leaked its way into just things that I say now.
Yeah.
Around the house.
Can we put that on the Jen, Gabe, and Chewy Twitter poll in honor of Andy Reid?
See, there's like stages of it, though, Jen. Like, Lord love a duck happens when you're wide open and you need to drop a ball. Lord love a duck. Son of a buck is like you've done the wrong thing.
Okay, and what was the other
wrong
one?
assignment? Son of a buck. Jeepers Crow is jumping off sides. Jeepers Crow.
I think we need to put this poll out there. These are Andy Reidisms.
Yes.
I wouldn't have known about this if it weren't for Chew.
Yeah.
I do say God bless America.
Yeah, I do that one a lot.
That's
you have another one?
No, that's good and clean.
Well, and again,
Lord love a duck is solid.
I don't even understand what it means.
Yeah, the Lord loves everyone, even a duck.
Even ducks.
Which is what you're acting like right now when you jump off sides.
Yes.
All right, we have to take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Still a lot of stuff to get to this morning. We will, of course, play Superb Owl Squares, and we will continue having the conversation about what the Green Bay Packers should do. Plus, did I hear the Bucks might be in the market for Kyle Kuzma? Is that what I heard, Gabe?
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to talk about it. Joshy, was that on purpose?
No, I wish it was.
Can we get the weed whacker ready, though? I love that thing.
I said I wasn't going to talk.
All right. Jen, Gabe, and Chewy rolls on right after this. Stick around.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
We do have delays eastbound on 94, stretching from about 84th Street through the Stadium Interchange to 35th. Westbound slowing from 25th Street to Mitchell Boulevard. Back on the brakes from Highway 100, pretty much all the way to Brookfield Road. Southbound 43, delays from Hampton all the way down towards Locust. We've also got delays 41 southbound between Appleton Avenue and Hampton. Northbound's backing up from North Avenue all the way up past Burleigh. Traffic is brought to you by Racine Danish Kringles, now offering heart-shaped Kringle with pink icing in raspberry, chocolate silk, cherry, and pecan flavors. Order at kringle.com or call 1-800-4DANISH. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Afternoon light mix likely. Minor snow, sleet, or ice accumulation, a high of 31. Tonight, later on, it'll be a light mix likely with some freezing drizzle, a low of 29. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazagon, 94.5 ESPN.
Now's the time to plan your total experience getaway to the Island Resort and Casino. With over 450 hotel rooms and a luxurious spa, relax in style before diving into non-stop casino action. Watch your favorite teams on the big screens and enjoy great food and drinks at T. McSee Sports Bar. Or savor top-tier dining at Horizon Steakhouse. Then amp up your night with live music and comedy. Head to where the big game, big wins, and big fun come together. The Island Resort and Casino.
So many of our youth carry unimaginable burdens. Anger, depression, even thoughts of suicide. At Rawhide Youth Services, we recognize their pain. We help them find hope and healing. For those that need a second chance at life, we refuse to give up on them. Please be a part of our life-saving work. When you donate your used vehicle to Rawhide, you're helping change the lives of countless youth in our communities. Go to rawhide.org/donate and help them realize a brighter future today.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station.
Showtime.
The right way to start your day. This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Why we love it so much, to be honest with you.
Oh, well.
Because there's so many other variables and dynamics.
Some more than others.
I'm not betting on the draft, if that's what you're insinuating.
Tell you what, I'll bet you the next three people I ask, two of them will say that it looks like Sugar Ray.
How much? $100? $200? $1,000. Hey, wait a second. What are you doing? You're not betting. You know he's not supposed to bet.
Sounds like Jen, Gabe, and Chewy may have a gambling problem.
The only one who's never really taken a big swing with gambling.
Oh, come on. You're on the golf course. Money changing hands all the time.
Yeah, good point.
Yeah, don't try and pull a fast one over there, Gabe.
Matter of fact, I'll bet you that flight to Pittsburgh takes off before my flight to Houston.
Not betting.
Friendly way.
No, I made a bet in 3 years. I don't know.
Oh, come on. Keep things interesting past the time.
Okay, how much?
How about 200?
You're on, cowboy.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios at the Avenue with Gabe Neitzel and Mark Chamorro. Here's Jen Latta.
Running around, she wants to ride and she's trying to hide it. I'm cool as ever, she's too excited. Her man look like he wanna fight. He ain't doing nothing but running his mouth.
I heard our friends over on Unsportsmanlike talking about this morning, briefly, but I thought it was really interesting. So I'm pivoting here for just a moment. What division in the NFL has the best group quartet of head coaches?
I mean, it's the AFC West now, and it's not particularly close.
That's what they were saying as well. Is there anybody who can make a case for having a better quartet of
AFC
coaches?
North.
AFC North.
Yep.
How do you figure? Are you banking it exclusive?
Harbaugh, you have Cincinnati.
You don't even know his name, Zach Taylor.
He's so good, you don't even know his name.
It's Mike Sherman's son-in-law.
Okay.
And then you have Tomlin.
Yeah.
And then Stefanski before this year. I mean, the Browns, they imploded.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the weak link is obviously now Pete Carroll.
Yeah, but he's a Super Bowl champ. Pete Carroll, Super Bowl champ. Sean Payton, Super Bowl champ. Andy Reid, might be winning his 4th Super Bowl, has 3 Super Bowls.
And
so Jim Harbaugh.
I agree with you. The AFC West, yes. But you can't discount the AFC North.
It's not even close, Chew. It's not even
crazy.
close. It's not even close.
Harbaugh's got 1. Tomlin's got how many?
1.
1 or 2?
He's got 1.
I mean, take Andy Reid out of there, and it's the AFC North.
Yeah, I mean.
Can you make a case for anybody in the NFC, or has there just been too much turnover in the league, generally speaking?
Nope. I mean, the AFC's been the dominant conference for the last handful of years.
Is that based mostly on the Chiefs' success?
Yeah. The Chiefs' success,
Bills.
Patriots' success before that in terms of winning Super Bowls. And even then, like some of the best quarterbacks have always just resided in the AFC, whether it's Brady, Manning, now it's, now you have Lamar and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. So that just kind of goes hand in hand, where the NFC has been more of a crapshoot, more up and down.
Does the NFC even have a best coach in it? I mean, who's the best coach in the NFC? I mean, we all thought it was Shanahan, but he's a choke artist. Sorry, San Francisco.
If we're going on resume, Chew,
you got Shanahan, you got McVay.
It's probably Sirianni. McVay's got a Super Bowl, but Sirianni in 4 years has never missed the playoffs and has gone to 2 Super Bowls.
I know, but they were talking about firing him at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, look, I understand. It's
you know what I mean?
I don't know how to talk about that head coach because everybody hates him, and yet all he's done is have success. It's probably McVay. Is he the only one who has a Super Bowl in the NFC right now?
No, yeah.
McCarthy's.
Sorry.
Yeah. He's taking the year off, focusing on 2026.
The only one that has one. Yay.
Yeah, McVay's the only one who's got one.
Yeah.
It's just crazy that we always talk about so much parity in the league, right? And how you can spread wealth around, players around, even though, again, we have talked numerous times about Howie Roseman and how well he has drafted and how he supplements those draft picks with free agents. And yet you have this core of coaches, this quartet of coaches in Pete Carroll, Andy Reid, Jim Harbaugh, and Sean Payton, all out there dueling in the AFC West. That is interesting, and that is something that I heard the guys talking about this morning, and I was like, I never really thought about it, but yeah, no one holds a candle to those 4 guys, what they have accomplished. Again, I don't know what they will accomplish. I don't know how long Pete Carroll is going to be the head coach of that team, but for now he is, and he obviously has a huge resume of success. All right, pivoting back to something we have been talking about, the Packers making a trade or making an off-season acquisition. Here's what I struggle with, guys. I struggle with Brian Gutekunst claiming that there needs to be urgency, and we've talked about that a lot, and that the Super Bowl is the standard for the Green Bay Packers, and seemingly standing pat or potentially standing pat. So I think that Goody needs to be aggressive this offseason, go out, make a move to show, if nothing else, the locker room, the people involved, that he believes this is a team that can reach the Super Bowl and win the Super Bowl. You know, it reminds me a little bit of the Josh Hader thing. Stay with me for a moment. When the Brewers dealt Josh Hader, the reason it was so devastating was because it indicated to the guys in the locker room that the people running the show didn't think they were contenders. So sometimes inaction, or in that case, dealing a key player, can send a message that has ripple effects throughout the players. Gabe, are you concerned at all that if Goody doesn't go out and make a splash acquisition, whether that's via trade or whether that's via free agency, there will be a perception that 2025 is just like 2024 for the players?
I don't think so, because it's still such a young team that knows that they have to grow. I mean, because to me, as nice as it would be to go get Myles Garrett, and again, big fan of going getting Myles Garrett. Ultimately, what this comes down to for the Packers is, does Jordan Love get better? Because if he doesn't get better, it doesn't matter if you have Myles Garrett or not. He has to play better in the bigger moments in order for the Packers to get to where they want to go. That's the reality of the situation. Yes, you can make it easier on him by trying to surround him with as many players as you possibly can, the way the Eagles have with Jalen Hurts. But like, Jalen Hurts is still money on the table. He's been able to make a lot of those plays. It's a big reason why they've gone to the Super Bowl 2 out of the last 3 years. And in the biggest moments, Jordan Love didn't play his best football this year. He played in some big moments last year in 2023. He certainly had some pretty good ones, but also threw 2 interceptions in the final quarter and a half against San Francisco in the divisional round 2 years ago. So he's got to clean up, and he has to be better. And that's all this comes down to me. Like, if he doesn't get any better, it doesn't matter who you go out and sign, because you're probably not going to be a Super Bowl team.
Okay,
anyway.
But Chew, take me inside the locker room as a former player. Let's just say that you are on this team right now. You guys fell short in 2024. To Gabe's point, do a lot of people need to play better? A lot of people need to play better. But what message does it send the locker room if there aren't any of those big-time acquisitions, if Goody doesn't go out and make a splash trade or grab somebody in free agency? What message does it send to the players?
That Goody is sticking to his plan, and I don't think it's a good plan. Basically. I don't think it's a good plan. But I want to ask Gabe, what's your definition of young?
What do you mean?
How many years is young?
What do we
One
get
first
here?
year, second player, is that young? Is third year player young? Is fourth year player young? I can tell you this, because a fourth year player is not young.
Well, but
they're not young.
Chewy, when I say young, like they had the youngest roster in the league.
Like this whole young thing is the biggest bunch of garbage on the face of the earth. Okay, I think it is, and I don't give. What do you get, a ribbon for being the youngest team in the NFL? Because clearly the young guys are not panning out. The receivers took a step back. Quay Walker and Devontae Wyatt, they've turned out to be just guys. I mean, so great, you're young, wonderful. You went 11-6, you didn't beat a relevant team, and you got worked in the playoffs. Wonderful. Let's be young again. If he's going to stick to his plan is we don't need a number one receiver, I like these guys, good luck. Good luck.
So is that the message it would send the players then, Shu? I'm just trying to get in the psyche of the player. Does the player look at that and say, he thinks we're good enough to get it done? Or does the player look at it and go, they're willing to just run it back?
Players know, right? Players know that T-Buck sucked, okay? When he played for us. I don't care what the argument is. When he's getting beat over the top and his reason for getting beat is because he didn't think Jim McMahon could throw the ball far enough, what the hell are we doing? The hell are we doing? Players talk about other players. And they talk about the money they make. I guarantee the offensive side of the ball, the left tackles and stuff are going, can you believe they paid this guy? I remember going up against Antoine Edwards. And this is Ron Wolf, who I respected the hell out of the first time. I'm like, this dude's a first-round pick? What the hell are we doing? He was terrible. You know, players talk about other players and their ability to play the game. They talk about Reggie White going, just don't hurt me. You know, you talk about Sean Jones being salad. Okay? He was salad because sometimes he would play, sometimes he wouldn't. When he played, he was very good, but, you know, he would play down to his competition. They talk about other players. So they're sitting here going, man, they got Amon St. Brown and these guys. It's human nature. I mean, they're human. That happens. What? You know?
Did you guys think in 95 that after Sterling retired that you guys were screwed because you didn't add a wide receiver?
No, because we loved Robert Brooks.
Yeah, and maybe they love somebody in the locker room. Like Robert had
this receiver
anything.
group. I just.
And I'm not saying anybody's going to be Robert, Chew. I'm just saying, like, in terms of the locker room, they may love, Jaden Reed. They might love, because Robert, before he had his breakout year in 95, Robert was a good punt returner. But that's about any fan, would kind of say about him, because he had, it's not like he was having a ton of success in the offense until 95 rolled around when he got his opportunity.
I agree. But you watch him in practice. I mean, when Jair said they're going to have to triple cover Romeo Doubs this year, I mean, what did you think? Did you put any credence into that?
No, I did not.
And it shows, right?
Yeah. I mean, I didn't put credence into that because of where it came from, right? Like I don't know, if Xavier McKinney would have said it, probably carries a little more weight. Although I got to question him because he's telling me that Quay Walker is one of the best linebackers in the league.
Maybe he will be, Gabe.
If we cross all our fingers and toes, Jen.
Eyes. Don't forget the eyes.
I mean, what do you think? Another thing, and this is, position groups travel in packs, right? And you spend time in a meeting room before the coach gets in there, and you BS around, and you do this stuff. What do you think the offensive line was saying at the end of there? You don't think one of those offensive linemen went, remember training camp, guys? Remember training camp when they were gushing over the D-line? You remember that?
Because the D-line was beating that O-line like a
drum?
But I'm saying throughout the year, they're like, what a joke. Are you kidding me?
So, again, I'm just trying to get into the mindset of the athlete. I'm trying to get into the mindset of the player. when they are where they are and the expectations are what they are, what does the player think about the offseason? Do these players want Goody to go out and get someone, or do these players think they are good enough to get the job done as currently constructed?
I don't know. I just go back, Jen, to when we signed Reggie White, and I was like, here we go. This is awesome. This is great. People are starting to notice us now because we were trending towards being pretty good. We were a playoff team. We knew we weren't there yet. But then, and it was a shock to us because there were like 17 teams courting Reggie, and we're like, there is no chance in the world that. And then he comes here, and we're like, oh, my God. Oh, my. Okay. Then you feel it. And then you add another piece. And then, you know, it's like they need, and not to say that McKinney and would be a huge splash, you know. But players talk about players, man. Offense talks about defense. Receivers talk about cornerbacks, you know. They just do.
How did you feel when Keith came in, though? You know, because I think it depends upon.
I was a little butthurt.
Yeah,
I was
right?
a little butthurt
It depends upon position group you're at, right? Like if you're a wide receiver and they bring in Devontae Adams, you're probably not too happy. Maybe Jordan Love's a little happy.
You want to hear one story in Detroit? Okay. And I was pissed, and guys were coming up to me when they brought Keith. And I love Keith. Don't get me wrong, but Keith was a little selfish, which benefited my career because he did not report until the last game he could report to and still get paid for the rest of the year. Right? Mm-hmm. I remember this like it was yesterday. So I'm having my best year starting, and they come in and they draw up. This is awesome. I mean, it's kind of a Richard move by me, but they draw up a touchdown play for Keith, right? Now, hasn't practiced for eight games.
Yep.
Right? Comes in, they draw up a special play for him. We're on the 6-yard line. They put in Keith. They dial it up. He's in the end zone, and he drops a bunny. And I was like, good. Glad that happened. You know? That's human nature, though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I wasn't like, oh, darn it all. The first thing I would have caught it.
I'd had my guy.
Having not been in an NFL locker room, I will speak to our situation here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy and just see if there's a parallel that I can draw, okay? I think we have a pretty good little show going on here. I think that we were good when Ashton was here. I think we're good with Joshy here. And yet there were still limitations. There were still things that we as a show were not getting done. There were things that we as a show could do better. Maybe our reach and who was hearing our show and who knew about our show. So the bosses come in and they're like, hey, we're going to add somebody to the mix. Not going to be a front-facing person, but we're going to add somebody to the mix that's going to help your show grow. And there she is back there, Maddie, sitting back there with Joshy. And every day Maddie sits back there and she clips stuff off from our show and she pushes it on social, and all of a sudden you got people who had never heard of our show who know about our show. Not the loyal listeners, because y'all have been with us since day one, and we appreciate you. We appreciate the hell out of you. But the point is, when the management invested more in our show, invested another resource in our show, it gave me the confidence of like, oh, they think what we're doing is pretty good. They think what we're doing could be better, and here's how it could be better, and they gave us that resource to be better. And so, again, when you talk about human nature, there's part of me from a human nature standpoint that saw that addition to our group and went, they believe in us. They think we're good. They think we can be better. And they are willing to give us the piece to be better. And that's what I'm wondering if the players in the locker room for the Green Bay Packers are looking at in this offseason.
Yes, totally, because we kept adding pieces, and Keith was a huge piece, and Eugene Robinson was a huge piece, you know? I mean, we just signed Mike Pryor the year before. Mike Pryor, smart player, right? One of the smartest players I ever, but had limitations. So Mike Pryor had to eat his ego a little bit and make way for Eugene because Eugene was better, right? What are you guys laughing
You're getting
at?
dangerously close over there to weed whack. Who the hell is Mike Pryor?
Had an interception in the Super Bowl, so show some respect. I mean, granted, it was like a punt that he, Drew Bledsoe just floated out there for him, but he still caught it.
Joshy clearly failed history in school.
Yeah,
I know that.
Super Bowl champ had an interception
Mike
in the game.
Pryor commitments?
Come on, Joshy.
Mike Pryor.
It's a great nickname, though, by the way. Mike Pryor commitments. Get your head in the game. All right, we'll take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Still a lot of stuff to get to today. And we have superb owl squares coming up at 8:45. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy are back after this on 94.5 ESPN.
We've got some delays. Eastbound on 94, stretching from 76th Street to about 35th. The westbound side slow from 27th through the Stadium interchange. You'll be back on the brakes from Highway 100 into Waukesha County, and then again from about Sunny Slope Road all the way to Brookfield Road. Southbound on 41 is looking okay. Everything has kind of dissipated there. Northbound's a different story, though. We got backups from just before Mayfair Road all the way up to Burleigh. Southbound 43 also seeing some delays from just south of Capitol Drive down towards Locust, and northbound 4394 backing up from the Plainfield curve pretty much up to Oklahoma Avenue. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast today. Afternoon, light mix likely. Minor snow, sleet, and ice accumulation, a high of 31. Tonight, light mix likely. Freezing drizzle is possible with the low of 29. Weather is brought to you by the Wisconsin Indoor Golf Center in Waukesha. Join their two-man scramble tournament and play TPC Scottsdale for a chance to win cash through the 28th. Sign up at WisconsinIndoorGolfCenter.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Guys, let's talk about something important. That's you. Hey, it's Brad Nortman. Taking care of your health and appearance isn't just about looking good. It's about feeling strong, confident, and ready to take on the world. At Quintessa Aesthetic Center, they make it easy. With experts in advanced skincare, body contouring, and anti-aging treatments, Quintessa's here to help you stay sharp and at your best. Trust me, when you look good, you feel even better. So why wait? Visit myquintessa.com and take the first step toward a more confident you.
Love is in the air at Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. This February, play to your heart's content in the Love It or Leave It $300,000 game show. Thursday night, you could love your prize or leave it for another. For a chance to cuddle up to thousands in cash and prizes, just play using your rewards card. Get ready to love it or leave it. Only at Potawatomi. Learn more at PaysBig.com. Must be 21 and a rewards member to play.
Great Midwest Bank has document imaging technology from James Imaging Systems, a 100% locally owned and managed business technology company. The bank's IT systems administrator, Michael Quizon, comments on the value of local.
We call on them at any point, they're there. We ask them any questions that we have, they're there.
James Imaging Systems, local business technology solutions, local support, local accountability. Luther Gray, Director of Ticket Operations and Group Sales for the Milwaukee Symphony Orchestra.
If an issue does arise, they're very prompt, polite, and professional. It makes me feel empowered because I find it very easy to resolve something.
James Imaging Systems client, Al Leidinger, President of Matheson Manufacturing, summarized the benefit of local.
James Imaging has been a really good partner with us from the beginning.
Go with local. Go with James Imaging Systems, your local business technology partner. Call 262-781-7700 or visit jamesimaging.com.
It's party time at Cousins Subs. For a limited time only, Cousins is bringing back their famous 2-foot party subs. Whether it's for a big game, family gathering, or work celebration, Cousins 2-foot party sub is sure to be a crowd pleaser. Choose from the club, ham and provolone, Italian special, or turkey. Each party sub is just $39.99, feeds 5 to 8 people, and requires 24-hour notice to order. Order today through February 9th in store, online, or on their app. Cousins Subs. We believe in better.
It's Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Bubble is a dating app.
It's tuna.
I love tuna. I had some last night.
How do you eat your tuna?
Can we, for once, grow up on this show?
On 94.5 ESPN.
Sports bettors out there, Potawatomi Sportsbook is upping its game. In a major move for all sports bettors, now you can use your Potawatomi rewards card at most self-service kiosks and, of course, at the betting counter. Bet on your favorite sports and earn rewards play along the way. Now, that is a winning play. We'll be out there this evening for weekly wager from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Potawatomi Sportsbook. You can bet above the rest. Learn more at paysbig.com/sportsbook. paysbig.com/sportsbook. And since we're talking about sports betting, did you guys hear about the Major League Baseball umpire who was fired? Not for betting specifically, but betting adjacent. Gabe, what's the details? How did this shake out? Why did this guy get fired?
So Pat Hoberg is the guy's name. He was sharing a legal sports betting account with a friend who had bet on baseball, and so he was fired for that and for intentionally deleting messages key to the investigation of his conduct. He adamantly denied betting on baseball directly or indirectly, and Manfred said there was no evidence that Hoberg bet directly on games and manipulated outcomes in any way. But again, like, you've just got to fire this guy for making bad decisions.
That's like insider trading, right?
Yeah, just the even if it looks like it's inappropriate, like, you have to be so clear, like, hey, sorry, man, you shouldn't have had this account. Why are you sharing? You're a grown-ass man. Why are you sharing a betting account with another guy who is betting on baseball?
If we remember Tim Donaghy in that famous scandal, there was suspicious phone calls that occurred pretty much every single day between some of the other referees. So if you were to try and build up your case of maybe it wasn't his games, but people around him, those text messages relevant would seem like something you would want to pay attention to.
This is the dumbest thing to share. Look, I get the old Netflix thing, right? Like, my mother-in-law doesn't want to pay for Netflix. She lives a mile from us. Do we give her our Netflix password for watching the kids?
Don't tell Netflix.
It's fair. We think it's a fair trade. You watch our children for us. We share our Netflix password with you, okay? I understand.
They're cheap there.
That I understand sharing. You don't know the quality of care, Gabe. Okay? That feels fine. Why would you be sharing a betting account?
Yeah, but what's the line? But what's the line? What if he was betting on football games? Is that fine? As a MLB
like
umpire?
If he's got a betting account, and again, all these things on an app can be tracked, if he wants to bet on a football game, basketball game, wherever. But the second that his account makes a baseball bet, see ya. You're done. Like, there's just
Gabe,
I wouldn't, like, when I had when I did games for the Packers, when I was on the pregame show, and I had a contract with them, like, it says specifically in there that you can't bet on NFL games. And I made sure to distance myself anything that could even be conceived to be betting on the 0.001% chance that somebody turned me in and the Packers cared enough to fire me. Like, that job was too important to me, because it was cool to be on the Packers radio network. Like, this is your main source of income. How is this? Like, you worked years to become a Major League Baseball umpire. How are you putting yourself in a position where you're sharing an account with somebody and they're betting on baseball? That's money coming from an account you're associated with, doing the one thing you can't be doing.
So what if my best friend was a coach at Boston College?
Okay.
And I'm a bettor, and he doesn't know that, and I call him up, and I say, hey, how you guys going to do against Miami this week? And he says, well, the quarterback's out, the running back's dinged up, we're without our best receiver. You know, just pilfering them for information. Is that coach in trouble?
He could be.
Could be.
No, I'm not saying – I know the perception of it bad, but from a legal standpoint, is that crossing the line?
If they were able to prove that he was giving you information that wasn't publicly available, he would be able to be held accountable. But
what if he didn't know, Josh?
Didn't know.
What if he didn't know that I was a degenerate gambler?
Then he's not your best friend.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that right now.
Why is he sharing
information?
That distinction.
Why would you care about the wide receiver if you weren't trying to?
Well, I mean, just genuinely curious about your pal's life and the game coming up. I could see that. I mean, the tricky thing is that there's so much information out there, guys. You know, there's so much information at every level. If a player is sick and doesn't practice one day, and maybe the team doesn't want that to get out before a big game so that the other team doesn't know. Like, there are people that know that. There are people who might say that information to their closest friends. Hey, how was practice today? Oh, it was good, but so-and-so was out. He's got the flu. Oh, interesting. And then that person says, hey, did you know so-and-so has the flu? We got that big game coming up on Saturday. Oh, is he going to be okay? I don't know. They're worried. They're worried he might not be able to play. At what point, how many degrees of separation do you have to be till you're safe?
That's all well and fine. That's like word of mouth stuff. This is having an app on your phone.
No, I was talking specifically about Chewy's example about his buddy at Boston College.
There is a gray area there, and this is very infamous in some of these smaller programs. Some not even necessarily Division I. Some of those Division II or smaller programs where you can get betting odds, information gets shared all the time because, one, they're not being covered as much, so there is an advantage of knowing somebody on the team or somebody working with the team. And then it's really only 1 degree of separation a lot, and people will leak information to others. But, like, those small Division II stuff, that's where stuff gets real sketchy, but they do limit the amount you can bet on them because of that potential of information being shared.
I don't know if this matters or not, but one interesting detail of this umpire situation specifically was that he is widely regarded as the best ball and strike umpire in Major League Baseball. So, just extrapolating out, it's not as though this guy was egregiously blowing calls. It's not as though he was telling his buddy. And again, I'm not saying that he wasn't telling his buddy. I'm just saying that, like, it would be more suspicious if he was, like, questionable on some stuff where you'd be like, whoa, that was a critical strike call. That was, you know what I mean? Like, there was a critical call, balls and strikes that could have gone the other way, but you chose it this way. And then learning that that guy had made a bet on that game that was impacted by his balls and strikes calls. By all accounts, Hoberg was one of the best ball and strike umpires when you do the accuracy things in baseball. So that was weird to me. That was a weird, like, detail that didn't seem to go along with him being complicit in this.
Well, but it doesn't matter if you're complicit or not, to me. You nip these things in the bud. You nip it right in the bud because you can't have any sort of suspicion of impropriety. And the second somebody you don't even have to cross the line.
But says who, Gabe? But says who?
Major League Baseball. Major League Baseball.
Well, I mean, the umpires have a union. They're going to fight this. There's
they
going to
did.
be lawsuits.
Chewy, they already did. So he was fired in May. They finally got done with that process, and he was fired earlier this week. So, like, they found out about this in May, took him off games, and the appeals process finally resulted in him being fired.
If you just apply the simplest of, like, logic to it, why are you and another grown man sharing an account?
Who, by the way, is a professional poker player? Like, I feel that's an important detail. That's an important detail. Like, it's not just like your buddy who happens to be an accountant at some firm or a lawyer.
Right.
No, this is a guy who deals in this setting professionally.
Gambles for a living.
There's no need for that to be shared. The only reason you would share it is if you somehow had information either through yourself or someone else that would benefit somebody making bets. Because let's be honest here, he might be accurate, and the thing that's being shown about him is he had a perfect ball
World
strike,
Series game
in the World Series. But you can change things by check swings. You can also call things, and maybe it's the correct call, but it was borderline, but it benefits the bets to make it a strike call. Like, you can still do that. You don't have to be egregiously off for you to influence a game.
Okay, but of the 141 baseball bets that were placed from his friend's account, which, by the way, they shared the username and password on. Okay,
it's not his friend's account; it's his account. If you're sharing an account, it's his account.
Okay, so just so you know, the friend signed up for it. I'm just reading from the legal document here. The friend signed up for the account, but he shared the password and username with Hoberg, and they were both making bets on that account. The other detail that's what I was trying to get to here, of the 144 baseball bets placed from the friend's account, 8 bets involving 5 games that he umpired. So that's the number. Sorry, I'm having a tough time reading this, but there were 141 baseball bets placed. 8 bets involved 5 games that Hoberg umpired or had responsibility for replay reviews. So 8 bets, 5 games of the 141. I'm not saying the guy shouldn't be fired. I don't think this guy was manipulating the outcome of games based on the information that we have.
I don't think he was either. Like, he's just being fired for being a dumbass.
Yeah, he is a moron.
This is your livelihood we're talking. A pretty good one, too. Like, if you're a Major League Baseball umpire, you're getting assignments like the World Series, you're making a pretty good living. Why on earth would you mess with that? Why? Why would you even want to come anywhere near the line? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. You want to make bets? Create your own account. Like, you can't, like, if you're dumb enough to make this decision, like, you can't be trusted to be a Major League Baseball umpire.
The 8 bets on games that Hoberg worked similarly did not reveal any obvious patterns of impropriety. Again, you're right. It was stupid. Shouldn't have been on a gambling account that your buddy's on, that he's making bets on, baseball on. Get your own account. And just don't bet on baseball. He would have been in the clear, right?
Yeah.
If he's got the account in Iowa where he was from, I believe.
He wants to bet, heads or tails on the Super Bowl? Go for it, man.
Also, these gambling sites share directly who the sign-up is and who's involved in the account with the leagues. So they know very clearly who's involved in betting on these things. So to even think about it, sharing it and having baseball bets happen is so stupid.
You know how much this happens, though? I guarantee you. How many NFL players are there? And like 3,000? You're going to tell me that a brother out there isn't gambling like crazy after he talks to his brother? Because, when we went into games, let's say we were playing Detroit back in the day at home, we're like, this is going to be a bloodbath. They're not a good team. I'm guarantee this happens all the time.
Sure. Yep.
Yeah, and you just risk your livelihood if you choose to do it.
Yeah, but how are you going to get caught?
If you bet on
if
an
your
app.
brother's on the gambling site and you talk to your brother,
if it's your brother, like
3 times a week.
But if it's your brother doing it, my guess is, it's a low likelihood that anything ever comes back to you. And if you're just talking with your brother, you're talking with your brother, right? Like,
yeah, but what if your brother's like, I got $1,000 on this game. I'm going to pick his brain. How's so and so feel this week? Is he good? He's got a bad ankle.
How weird would that be? How weird would that have been, Chewy? Like, if your brother called you up, 1994, middle of October. Hey, how's Brett's ankle?
I'd have been like, get bent, because I didn't know what he was doing.
Can't pull one over on you. Can't pull a fast one on you. You're a deep thinker. All right, we'll take a break here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. It's just fascinating because, again, I don't think that the guy did anything implicitly wrong. I don't think he was betting on baseball. I don't think he was impacting the outcomes of games egregiously. But just by sharing the username and password with a guy who got himself in hot water, got himself fired. And it's just, again, it's one of those things that we need to pay attention to and just be aware of. Not that any of our loyal listeners out there are professional umpires, but just there's a lot of gray area in this gambling space right now. And not even that this was gray, because the Major League Baseball is pretty implicit about what you can and cannot do. But it just feels like we all work in sports. Gabe, you got connections at places. You got connections at Marquette. If you hear something from Marquette and you pass it on to somebody and they make a bet on it, are you in trouble? Like, it's just, it's interesting. And it keeps evolving the more people that are betting on these apps every day on everything. We'll take a break. Be right back after this.
Jen, Gabe, and Chewy continues next on 94.5 ESPN.
We got some delays from westbound 94 from Highway 100 all the way to about Brookfield Road. Eastbound 94 slowing down just east of 76th Street through the Stadium Interchange to 35th. And southbound 43, a bit heavy from Keefe all the way down towards Center Street. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast. Today, afternoon light mix likely. Minor snow, sleet, or ice accumulation, a high of 31. Tonight, light mix likely. Freezing drizzle with a low of 29. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga, 94.5 ESPN.
Kevin Morat, Mentality founder here with a wake-up call. You're running on fumes, gentlemen. Just 1/3 of the free testosterone you need. That's why you're drained, defeated, and disgusted with your progress. But here's the truth. Mentality doctors specialize in epic comebacks. Our clients show an increase of 30% testosterone levels within the first month. We don't just treat men, we reignite lives. Just imagine the focus, energy, and drive being restored. Your comeback starts now. Don't wait. Make this your best year yet. Start today at mentalityhealth.com/radio.
Hey guys, Josh DiMaggio here. Don't be like me and wait till the last minute. Valentine's Day is almost here. Impress that special someone with a handcrafted bouquet from Flowers for Dreams. Order a bouquet online at flowersfordreams.com or visit their Walker's Point location. Use code ESPN at checkout for 15% off your bouquet, or this year, try something new with tickets to their date night open studio workshop on Friday, February 14th. Every Valentine's bouquet benefits an amazing local Milwaukee charity. That's flowersfordreams.com, code ESPN.
It's the perfect Valentine's heart.
The kind a schoolboy would draw. It's the most adorable pendant we've ever created.
Innocent, fun-loving, and sweeter than honey.
Cute, cute, cute.
It's cherry red ceramic that's been through the fire.
We've been making ceramic jewelry for thousands of years.
Seriously?
Google it.
But this ceramic heart has things they didn't know about thousands of years ago.
Like what?
Diamonds. 18 of them.
These created diamonds were made for the one who sparkles like the sun.
I can see her in my mind right now.
It's the perfect Valentine's gift.
And it's only $128 at Kessler's.
Monica, what else do we have?
We have 4 different ways to say I love you.
Each pendant is a different shape covered in diamonds.
Life is like a box of chocolates.
An oval.
A square with rounded corners.
A teardrop.
And a heart.
Your choice, just $148 at Kessler's. For the location of the Kessler's nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Football season. Best time of the year and my favorite time of the year. This is ESPN Wisconsin's Brad Nortman. On game days, my favorite teammate is a cold carbless in my hand. Premium cocktails in a can made right here in the great state of Wisconsin. Maybe it's when I'm at the tailgate ahead of kickoff or getting ready at home for the game. Carbless is there. 0 sugar, 0 carbs, and gluten-free. Carbless features classic cocktails like margarita, Paloma, and even Moscow Mule, and vodka cocktail flavors like cranberry, lemon, and peach. Find it on your next grocery trip. Carbless. Less is more.
So many of our youth carry unimaginable burdens. Anger, depression, even thoughts of suicide. At Rawhide Youth Services, we recognize their pain. We help them find hope and healing. For those that need a second chance at life, we refuse to give up on them. Please be a part of our life-saving work. When you donate your used vehicle to Rawhide, you're helping change the lives of countless youth in our communities. Go to rawhide.org/donate and help them realize a brighter future today.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Look, you take Jesus and the presents out, and it's not even in the top 10.
Well, I mean, yeah. If you take sex out of the anniversary, then that's not that fun either.
On 94.5 ESPN.
Behind the Bucks on the Bucks Plus Audio Network, presented by Gallagher. It is your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Behind the Bucks dives deep into Bucks in 6, a culture unknowingly created by former Bucks star Brandon Jennings. Take a look inside the Brandon Jennings story, the origin of Bucks in 6, how it became the rallying cry, and what it really means to Jennings and Bucks fans alike. Find Behind the Bucks on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher. A lot of movement in the NBA. LeBron James talking about the Luka Doncic acquisition. A lot of pieces falling into place ahead of the trade deadline. And yes, the Bucks are still being mentioned as a potential player. Gabe, what is your understanding of the latest of where the Bucks are in the trade conversations?
Do I have to?
You don't want to?
I feel if I say this out loud, like it makes it more real.
Oh, like Bloody Mary type of thing? Candyman?
I mean,
so just say his name once.
I don't like the rumor that's out there, and I don't want to talk about it.
Why?
Because Kyle Kuzma stinks, Chewy. That's why. He's bad. He's bad at basketball. And if you're going to trade away Khris Middleton, at least get somebody back who's, can help improve the team. Not somebody who's shooting 42% and lower than 30% from downtown.
So why are the Bucks attached to him? Why are these rumors? Why are these reports out there?
I have no idea. Probably the same reason why they were attached to Bradley Beal rumors. Another guy I wanted nowhere near this team. Thankfully, those got shot down.
It's kind of opposite Gabe. I think they should do the deal.
I want nothing to do with Kyle Kuzma. He's like having his worst year of his career. And it's not even close. Like last year, he was a much better player. Much better player. And this year, it's bad. Maybe part of that's because he plays for an unserious franchise in Washington, but I don't want to take that risk. Like, I want somebody that I know can make my team better. I don't think that makes the Bucks better.
Okay, go ahead, Chew.
Is it your love of Khris Middleton?
Well, if you're going to trade away Khris, Chew, I want somebody who's actually going to improve the team. Because Khris, when he plays with Giannis, like, they still have an unbelievable chemistry, right? So that you're taking that away. And if you're replacing it with a guy who can't hit a three, like, you can probably beat him in a 3-point shooting contest with your bum elbow right now. Like, no, that I don't have any interest in that. I don't think that makes the team better.
Do they know something we don't? Do they know something we don't? Like, as in Khris Middleton's body is starting to fall apart.
I mean, it's kind of the same old story with Khris. I mean, the last game he played really well. You know, easing his way back in with his ankles.
Okay, we talk about this a lot, and I know I mentioned it in passing when we were discussing the Packers and acquiring somebody in the offseason. There's that old Bill Polian quote that he told Dario when Dario was at ESPN. Dario, my husband, of course. And the quote was, "Don't bite a lemon just because you're thirsty for lemonade." So I feel like you are chalking this up to that. Just because the Bucks want to be involved in trades, just because they want to improve the team, they want to be considered a contender in the East, and seen as one and obviously respond as one, don't go out and just grab someone to grab someone is sort of the position that you are taking. I want to be clear, Chew, this is not just fan blogs out there like we sometimes see with these things. This is actually the Athletic reporting that league sources have said they are exploring a potential deal. I don't know enough about Kuzma to be able to tell you whether or not he can help the Bucks. I trust Gabe's judgment on that. What I do know is the Bucks aren't getting it done now as currently constructed. They've been good. They've been very good at times, but they are not good enough to compete with the teams that are better. And so to me, that is, you either have to make a decision, Gabe, if you are standing pat with what you have, or you are going to go out there and try to contend for a title. What does your gut tell you about where the Bucks are?
I actually think they can compete. I mean, this is just an older team going through a really tough patch of their schedule right now. You hit the playoffs where the games are spread out a little bit more. And again, Craig mentioned this when we talked to him on Friday. As long as this team is healthy, they can compete with anybody. I firmly believe that. They've shown that when they blew the doors off of Oklahoma City, who's the best team in the league, in the NBA Cup final. Like, they can compete with anybody. It's just, are you healthy? They've been beat up recently. Bobby was gone for personal reasons. Hopefully he comes back tonight. I think he's probable for their game at Charlotte. So, yeah, I mean, Zach LaVine was somebody they were linked to. Would have been all in on Zach LaVine because he certainly makes the team better, makes you a little bit younger, but he can actually, do some of the things you want to do. Like Kyle Kuzma, just that would, I can't imagine that. You're taking away team chemistry that you have and replacing it with a huge question mark and somebody who has not been good at all this year.
How does Giannis feel about his good friend getting traded to one of the worst possible landing spots? Like, you're going to upset, obviously, a legend, a guy whose numbers will be in the rafters eventually at Fiserv, and you're sending him to Washington. So how do they both feel about that?
Which is why I think that ultimately the Bucks don't do anything. Like, sure, maybe they've talked about Kyle Kuzma, but ultimately they just kind of go, you know what's really good to surround Giannis with? Shooters, and that guy is not a very good shooter. Like, they already have somebody like that in Andre Jackson who can't really shoot. So I think it's a situation where they will stand pat and at least see how this plays out. Try to see if they can get Giannis, Khris, and Dame all healthy for the playoffs. See what that looks like, because we haven't seen that in a playoff series because of all the different injuries.
Doesn't the fact that they're doing this tell you anything, Gabe? That they don't believe?
I mean,
if they were going to say, hey, we're trading you or we're going to shop you, I'd be like, I'm out of here, man. You don't think I'm good enough to do this? Don't you think there's a little bit of that?
Yeah, maybe. But, I mean, Kuzma ain't the answer, man. Like, we've seen teams make bad trades all the time, Chew. Like, we just saw the Mavericks trade away Luka Doncic. Like, teams make head-scratching moves all the time because they think that's what's going to be best for them.
The other player whose name is mentioned, not in this trade specifically, but Pat Connaughton's name has been brought up frequently, often, I guess depending on how many you believe are legit and how many are just like fan fiction, would you be pro dealing Pat Connaughton to bring back the right piece?
Well, if they deal Pat, it's not even going to be dealing for a piece. Like, Pat's been in and out of the rotation. They'd be dealing him to get below, again, get the weed whacker ready, the second apron.
He knew as soon as he said the second apron.
That's what it is.
It is. And, but to be perfectly honest with you, the Middleton Kuzma thing would be that as well.
If they deal, but like if you're dealing Middleton, which is really your only tradable piece right now, you have to get something good in return. Like you have to get something that's going to help you in return. Because Khris is actually playing meaningful minutes where Pat's been in and out of the rotation depending upon who's healthy.
Then why would they do it, Gabe?
I have no idea, Chew. No idea. It's the same reason why I have no idea why the Mavericks decided to trade Luka Doncic. But again, I think ultimately that's why they don't do anything, Chew. That they're kind of kicking the tires around, and it's just, hey, we've talked about Kuzma. Okay, we want to trade Middleton, who's out there. Kuzma, we talk about it. Yeah, that's probably just not going to work for us.
Would them kicking the tires indicate to you a potential of like some sort of panic?
Well,
desperation. I was going to say
they've been in the trade market. I mean, when they started 2-8, Wendy had the report that they had talked to basically every team in the league. Like they've been having different conversations to try to improve on the margins. It's really what John Horst has done his entire time as the Bucks general manager. Like, he's usually pretty active around the trade deadline to improve on the margins. Sometimes it's worked, sometimes it's not.
Brian Windhorst on Get Up right now, and it just said Bucks actively trying to get younger, and they are talking about the Kyle Kuzma for Khris Middleton suggestion. Again, it does feel like getting under the second apron. Don't weed whack it, but it is a reality of the NBA, is a priority for the Milwaukee Bucks, and if they can make some moves that do that while also getting younger, I think they might consider that a win. We got to take a break because we have Superb Owl Squares coming up next here on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. Want to give you all enough time to get those correct answers in. So get your dialing fingers ready. 800-990-3776. 800-990-3776 to play Superb Owl Squares with Jen, Gabe, and Chewy right after this.
More Jen, Gabe, and Chewy coming up on 94.5 ESPN.
Hey, this is Brad Nortman, here to tell you about my friends at Bank 5-9. Everywhere I go throughout the area, I see Bank 5-9, and it's no wonder why. Not only do they have 14 branch locations, but their employees spend nearly 9,000 hours each year volunteering in the communities that they serve. That's on top of the financial support that they provide to several hundred nonprofits right here in southeastern Wisconsin. If you're looking for a true local community bank, check them out today at bank59.com. Member FDIC.
Lanny went to college and racked up huge debt.
A little bit over $100,000.
For a degree he couldn't use? Now what?
I had a friend that went to my computer career.
They even helped him get hired immediately after graduation.
One of the things I love about IT is that you can work from anywhere you want.
You could become an IT pro in just months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI with zero experience at mycomputercareer.edu.
It worked for me, and I know it can work for you.
This is one student's experience. Individual results vary.
Madame Giselle senses a change in your future.
Is it a promotion?
I see a door opening.
Ooh, through a corner office?
There's a creature. Beady eyes, lots of hair.
Is it my boss, Dave?
No, raccoons everywhere. Your RV door is open, and they're chewing everything.
Not a problem. I'm covered by Progressive. Do you see a bigger paycheck?
Customize your coverage with Progressive's Pest Damage Protection and be prepared for the unexpected. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pest Damage Protection available for RVs less than 6 years old. $250 deductible applies to any claim.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance specialist for university housing, he knows college students can major in wear and tear. Plus, housing so many students doesn't leave a lot of room to house all the supplies he needs. That's where Grainger comes in. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast, dependable delivery, Grainger carries the quality products he needs so he doesn't have to. From a new door hinge to a whole new faucet. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Finding the right employee for your company is tough. One wrong hire can be a major setback. You're not alone if you face this. A recent survey by Robert Half shows nearly half of hiring managers readily admit to making a bad hire. Luckily, there's a solution. With Robert Half's specialized recruiter's experience, combined with our award-winning AI, you can have the right skilled professional in place quickly. We understand what it takes to build winning teams because at Robert Half, we know talent. Discover how we can help at roberthalf.com/talent.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling.
I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6759. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6759. That's 800-575-6759. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
This is Jen, Gabe, and Chewy.
Excuse me. Hold on. Getting choked up over it. So, hold on. Give me a moment.
On 94.5 ESPN.
First up on Superb Owl Squares this hour is Joe in Kewaskum. Good morning, Joe. Are you ready to play?
Morning. Let's give it a whirl.
All right, Joe, you get a question right. You get 10 squares on the Superb Owl Squares board and a chance to win that grand prize that we have been putting together. Who is the oldest player to score a touchdown in the Super Bowl?
Oh, boy. That's going to be a tough one. I don't even have a guess.
Jerry Rice.
Sorry.
Jerry Rice was 40 in Super Bowl 37.
All right, 1-0, buddy. Let's go to Bill in Lake Geneva. You're up next on Jen, Gabe, and Chewy. You ready to play?
Let's do it.
Who is the only player to be named Super Bowl MVP in a loss?
Chuck Howley.
Chuck Howley.
Wow.
Nice
answer.
Oh.
Very good,
Super
Bill in
Bowl
Lake Geneva.
5.
Holy cats. Who did
I
he play
wasn't
for?
sure.
Colts beat the Cowboys, so
Cowboys.
Howley was a member of the Dallas Cowboys.
Wow. Good. Wow.
Very good. These questions all courtesy of Hembo, Paul Hembakidis, who Gabe works with occasionally on ESPN Radio, who you see on Get Up, and who every year is so good to us, giving us this list and dozens of superb owl questions.
I feel like last year we could have asked what hand did Brett Favre throw with, and people were getting that incorrect. So the fact that we're getting Chuck Howley this year, the fans have stepped up the game.
Yeah, big time.
They've stepped up the Super Bowl trivia game this year.
What are you guys doing for the game? Has that been determined yet or no?
I'm glad you asked, Chew. I will be at Potawatomi Sportsbook with Joshy and Ben Brust for the weekly wager from noon to 3 at the Annex. You can come out and visit us. Nice work, buddy.
Surprise.
Thank you. Let me get that pop in there. Gabe?
Probably nothing. Just hang out at home.
Gabe doesn't want to share. Gabe could be a spy.
I'm just going to be hanging out at home,
down
man.
here.
I'm not
He's
going anywhere.
on the radio every day, not just with us, with ESPN Radio. When is he doing the spy work?
Yeah. Sunday's like my first day off in 2 or 3 weeks, so just sitting at home. My dog's cast is hopefully coming off tomorrow, so maybe take him for a long walk.
Shut up, Bubs.
Yeah.
What happened to the dog?
Yeah, what did he have a cast on? I'm
Broke his
shocked
leg.
that he went through the entire time having the cast without us knowing, Chew. That's a shocking development.
We have talked about it on the show before, but, again,
I don't think I was here.
Yeah, I know you were.
Did I ask about the dog?
He did not. Broke his leg 11 weeks ago.
How?
The fact that you don't know either, Chew, makes me very suspect.
I had this conversation with Chew. My wife was playing with him, threw a ball for him, jumped up, kind of lost his balance, and fell awkwardly back on the leg.
So the dog has the same athletic ability as you, is what you're saying?
That was
wow.
I'm sorry.
Man, I'm sorry. Back this entire show, Chew. I have had your back, and for you to just stab me in the back like that hurts.
I mean, the Horicon thing last week.
At least
now
that
the
understood.
athleticism.
I will say I was kind of poking the bear last week a little bit, agitating him a little bit, a couple pokes in the ribs. So, that one I expected. This one I did not expect.
It's a good pop, though, right, Josh?
I like that.
Joshy!
Now you got Josh ganging up on me, too?
Don't you have a contest to do?
I want an apology and for Chewy to be fired.
Thank you.
Chewy wants nothing more than to be fired. I thought he made that pretty clear every day he's on the radio.
The Deer District Prep Showcase going to be at Fiserv Forum this Saturday. 10 high school boys basketball teams hit the court for an exciting day of action featuring games with teams like Kettle Moraine, along with Nicolay, Milwaukee, Juneau, Kohler, Lake Mills, Sun Prairie East, and Racine Park. General admission tickets just $15. They're valid for all 5 games, but you can see the full schedule. Get your tickets today at FiservForum.com. And Kohler number 4 right now wins 4 tickets. Kohler 4 wins 4 tickets to Saturday's games at Fiserv. 800-990-3776.
Have a great day, everybody. Wilde and Tausch is next on ESPN Milwaukee.
Eastbound on 94, we've got backups from about 76th Street all the way through the Stadium Interchange to 35th.